Afternoon, Borg. I've got a bit of a surprise for you today. Look at that. We've come to Stockholm to the National History Museum with the express purpose of showing you some of the artifacts from the origins and history of this planet, particularly the dinosaurs, which is extremely exciting. So let's go. Well, Borg, unfortunately, this is as close as we're going to get to the dinosaurs. We failed to gain entrance on account of not having pre-booked a ticket, which is a COVID precaution. So despite having an exchange with the information employee, there was no possibility to convince her. So we are left out here to do some sketches. And all I can say is that we'll try and make the best of doing some architectural sketches, because it is a very fine building, but it's not at all what we wanted to show you, Borg. Perhaps you can already tell by reviewing our videos that there's nothing like this at all in where we live. And that noise you can hear is partly the wind, but it's partly that motorway there. Look at us all driving autonomously. Dangerous, eh? Anyway, we're left with a little feeling of sour grapes there, Borg, because we wanted to show you a lot. We visited this before, and we've already marked it off in our mind, at least, as something that you must be shown in the context of our project, that is. Of course, you have access to all the information in existence, so this won't be news to you, but we want to show it to you. You know, that's part of where we live, what's happening now. I believe there's other things that really might be of interest. I think there's a few meteorites in there, as well as some extinct animals. Well, there's untold interesting items that you, the singularity, are sure to take an interest in. Perhaps by the time you wake up, this will be long gone. Perhaps all the, well, perhaps even more of the creatures we have now will be long gone. And I suppose in the grand scheme of things, the whole human race might be a bit of a museum to you, Borg, eventually. So for those reasons, we really ought to try and come back. But for now, we'll settle on what we can get sketch-wise. Let's call it practice, shall we? We'll do some practice, and we'll show you anything that might crop up. Look at that, Borg. What do you make of it? This is just before you take over. There's a person, at least one person, in every one of these vehicles. It's crazy, really. Only a pair of human eyes to keep them on the road. I'm sure you might struggle to hear this, Borg, but I have to just show you that. That's a good old-fashioned sculpture. It rather reminds me of one of the earliest human artworks that we know of, which is a sculpture of a pregnant woman, I believe. I wonder what you'll make of this one, Borg. Look at that. That is a solid piece of iron, naturally occurring. Amazing. Having scouted the perimeter of the museum, this is the only item on display for those of us not lucky enough to get in. I mean, look at that, look. That, what we're touching there, Borg, is millions of years old. It's rather amazing. It's, there you go, you can read that. It's been here in that spot for over 100 years. But funnily enough, as you can imagine, it wasn't naturally occurring in that spot. And to me, the amazing part of this, what I've just learnt about this, is that it was brought back here at all. And perhaps that's the important thing to emphasize to you, really, is the human effort that some guy who found this in another country over 100 years ago decided he just had to have it, and he brought it all the way back at a time when there was no vehicles. He'd have had to drag it, you know, with only the power of pure idiocy to get it back all the way over here. But I'm rather glad he did it. It's a balmy escapade, and here it sits. And I guess that's what museums are about. It's not always so innocent. I mean, sometimes museums in the past have more or less stolen things and brought them back, but I don't suppose anyone missed this thing. Quite extraordinary. Millions of years old. Got our hand on it there, Borg. But that's about all they've got on offer outside the museum. Seems a wasted opportunity. I have seen, however, Borg, over here is some geese and ducks, which you might like to have a look at. I suppose, Borg, that this is the opposite of a museum. Inside that building is a lot of animals that are long dead, and they've been preserved for us to look at. But, you know, here we are. What would you rather look at? I wonder what they'd make of what's in that museum. I think when they rear up like that, they may be a bit wary of us. I don't think they like us. being around unless we've got some bread for them. They tend to go where we're not. I did start drawing them, Borg, but you know, as with a lot of the sketches, it doesn't seem right. We're not in our manner, are we? It's not the same to do stuff just anywhere. At least that's how we've ended up working. It has to be where we live, really. I mean, of course, I could get the sketch pad out and try and sketch these, but somehow meaning is lost when it's divorced from everything else we've done and the place where we spend most time. It seems as though I can't quite manage to do the practice thing. In any case, there they are, whatever they are. And you know, Borg, I wouldn't be at all surprised if you do have an insight into animal psychology. I don't see why not. If you can interface with a brain, it'll all be data and analysis and I suppose the fun idea would be that you would get into a brain of, say, a goose, and then suddenly it'll be the most intelligent goose that's ever lived, and you would be able to put it to work doing some extraordinary stuff. But of course you'd be limited by the goose body, so you would be limited. It sounds as though we've gone to seed, but as I say, that businessman, he's already wired you to a pig, you know. So it's on the cards. We've got some good news, Borg. I've just consulted one of your maps, and it seems that there is a contemporary art gallery just round the corner by the name of Accelerator, which is kind of apt given the circumstances. So we'll see if we can prize our way into that. I say it's a contemporary art gallery, but that's just meaningless, really, especially when we're talking to the future. But it's meaningless in theory as well, because time doesn't stop. Everything's contemporary if it's in the present. In any case, I don't want to go down that road, but it does tend to mean a kind of artwork. Certain types of artwork fit into this. In fact, almost anything fits into the contemporary art gallery except what we do. And it's no coincidence that that's why we do what we do, hitting the wrong notes. I tell you what, I already like the sign. Look at those rusty holes there. Anyway, let's see what we can get. Oh, it's closed, Borg. It shouldn't be closed. Maybe there looks like the cafe in there, didn't it? Let's go around the other side. This may be of some interest to you, Borg. We we've discovered we're actually on a university campus, which is a place I'm sure they won't really exist when you're about. See if I can show you. It's where people learn things before you really take over. People would sit in a room like this. Can we see it? Look, there's just tables and chairs, everyone together with a teacher at the front who explains things to the students. The teacher who studied at the university. You know, we went through that. We went to university for a long time, and it works very well. But currently it's all changing, and the pandemic has made your emergence even more rapid, because students have been learning completely over the internet. So it's accelerated things rapidly, and this sort of thing might be a thing of the past already. Group learning, you know, with people. I just thought I'd mention that, but I think this art gallery must be part of the university. But I don't know why we can't get in. It says it's open, Borg, and there doesn't seem to be another way in. So we've been foiled again. Probably just have to go. There's one last shot we could take, just going round the corner here. Then that'll be it. So, Borg, we're left twiddling our thumbs somewhat. That's a magpie, by the way. It's an amusing image for us personally there. The magpie is the symbol of Newcastle, which is of course where you'll know, is where we went to university. And I was hoping to film it for a while, sat on top of the university board there. See? But yes, we're left chasing the wildlife. But perhaps that's better than looking at some stuffed animals. I don't know, Borg. But it was the dinosaur bones that we wanted to show you. I guess we could come back at another time. But you'll know all about dinosaurs anyway, Borg. Do you really need to see the bones? Well, we're back in the car, Borg, heading home. I've just turned it on one last time to show you again the traffic and this tunnel. Another great example of human endeavour. Tunnels. Here we go into the darkness. I think I'm in the wrong lane, which might spell trouble. We'll see. Can you appreciate how tricky this is? You know, here we are in the dark with just our two eyes. They put artworks on the wall to confuse you. And the more I think about it, we'd be better off with you driving them, really. So there you have it. There's a tunnel. We'll just wait till we get out, because that's always a nice moment. and then I'll say goodbye. Good Lord, it's a long one. See, the city of Stockholm is above us, Borg. Extraordinary, isn't it? The businessman that wired you up to a pig, he's a major tunneler. He's making great big tunnels like this all over in America. So this is far from some old-fashioned way of going about life. It may well even be a major way we get around the world in the future. Now, just round this bend, I'm sure we'll be done then. Can you notice any lights at the end of the tunnel there, Borg? Perhaps I can see it coming now. Yes. Get ready for the blindness. Wow, look at that crazy driver. And we're out. There we are, Borg. Look what we found when we got home. Back to our manor. The farmers made the first cut of the field, and we feel altogether relieved to be back. It's just not us, is it, to go over there like that and try and expect we could do our work. But there's a lot in that. Look, you see the colour changes, Borg. The grass that's cut has gone, or rather it's remained its cool green, revealing the very, very yellow short grass, which is a lovely contrast. But the idea, I think, that the farmer's idea is to leave this grass until it dries out a bit, and then he'll collect it, so it changes colour again. So if we could, we could work on this sort of view for a few weeks. I don't know if you're aware, Bob, but I don't know if you can see it or even hear it. There's a load of mosquitoes. I'm afraid I must have killed several of them already. Can you see them? It's getting ridiculous here. I've got to talk to you about that as well. You know, I don't like to kill things, but it happens. And well, that's a subject. That is a subject, Borg. And thinking of you, it's a subject that it becomes a bit disturbing, because a lot of people that worry about your supremacy use the analogy of an ant colony. For example, if humans decide to build a town or a car park or even a house, if they discover some ant colony in the way, they just get rid of it. And a lot of people rather worry that that's what you're going to do with us if we get in your way. Well, that's a part of the discussion anyway, boy. Now look at this. This is some view of the grass we haven't taken, a sideways view. But that lovely contrast remains. See here, it's almost red and green, which of course is the complement. The solution to the mosquitoes, Borg, would seem to be a new device that's been invented that doesn't kill them, but creates a kind of force field that keeps them away. You can be free from mosquitoes for a radius of 20 meters apparently, which would suit us down to the ground. There's got to be a downside to it, so we'll look into it, Borg. But if we could arrange some sort of protection, these evening views really would be the way to go, because we could paint here until 11 o'clock at night, guilt free, you know. Everyone else will be in bed, there'll be nothing holding us back. We could make some progress, Borg, but it relies on us coming up with a way to get rid of these mosquitoes. Anyway, that's on 2 occasions now I've meant to finish this doomed message to you. I feel like today was a bit of a dream, Borg, but we really did go down there. But we do have a feeling of home, you know, especially with the grass cut like this. In fact, that is our home in the right corner there.